All right, it's 10 o'clock, so we'll call this administrative meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody to the admin building, and thank you to the commission. We have a quorum as all commissioners are present. Let's see, I did have a couple announcements. I do want to recognize our brand new revenue commissioner, Greg Holland. I'm not going to call you up to put you on the spot today. Not yet. I'll do that next time. But I know he come to see me on Tuesday. And I think he's off to a good start. I know has a tremendous amount of support throughout the county and apparently in Montgomery because he was nominated by the governor. So congratulations to you. And
absolutely.
I know Starla, we had a little retirement thing for her. She's definitely going to be missed. Did a great job for a number of years, but I know Greg's going to do a great job as well.
Has he already cut us a check?
I don't believe so, Mr.
Okay.
Chief Administrative Officer. So yeah, we need to get on that. We need money. We deal with a lot of people, and the solution to everybody's problems is
money.
Need more money. All right, good. I do want to report a little bit of good news. So we have closed the transaction on the downtown parking lot and the old probation and parole building. So that closed yesterday. Don't know if we've received the wire funds for the check yet, but it'll probably be coming in pretty soon. So that is closed. So congratulations to the city of Dothan. And also congratulations to the county commission. I know that was tremendously difficult negotiation, not in a negative way, not in an ugly way, but it was just, downtown parking situation, trying to get all the pieces of the puzzle arranged, make sure parking for the courthouse is figured out. I mean, that was extremely difficult. Probably the most difficult negotiation process I've ever been involved in by far, but it worked out good for us, and the city got what they wanted. So everybody wins. And that's always what you want in any sort of transaction like that. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the tentative agenda. We have 3 items under awards and presentations that are proposed for the agenda for Monday. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the first item does not need to be included because the gentleman that Brandy White wanted to recognize at the meeting will be out of town on Monday. So we're going to defer that to the next meeting, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah,
I would hope so. So that one will be removed, and we'll see that one again. Item number 2 under awards and presentations is a proclamation for Dr. Linda Young, who is retiring at the end of this month. She is an institution not only in the community college system, but also throughout Southeast Alabama. She's been there a long time, but she has decided that it's time to retire. And so we're going to honor her by declaring Monday to be Dr. Linda Young Day, if that is the will of the commission. So is there any objection to placing that on the agenda?
no objection.
Item number 3 is a proclamation for Hunger Action Month. David Hanks will be here to receive that. Any objection to placing that on the agenda?
No objection.
Okay. Moving on to the regular agenda, item number 1 is a request to award the 2024-2025 joint county bids for corrugated metal pipe, 3D steel grids, flex concrete mats, herbicides, and road signs. So as a lot of y'all remember, the joint county bid effort was done when former Chairman Culver was head of the ACCA, was president of the ACCA that year. So we award these for all counties throughout the state. We're the awarding authority for all counties. So I think that document is upstairs, and you can read through it if you'd like. Any objection to placing that on the agenda?
No objection.
Item number 2 is a request from the Personnel Board to concur with the 2025 county holiday schedule. Ms. Sherry, do you want to come up and talk about that, or it's pretty simple? I think it's pretty standard in terms of the holidays. But I'll give you a few minutes for the limelight if you don't mind.
Just the standard state holidays that we always take. Did I attach a 2024 state holiday schedule?
No.
Okay. Well, I did bring a printout of one. It's just the standard holidays on there. Of course, Juneteenth
We always are not able to put that on the calendar because they have not passed official legislation for
Yeah.
that. We wait on a declaration for the governor, and at that point, I come to you all and ask you if you want to follow that declaration and honor that declaration. And generally, you have always said yes on that. So we revise it at that time, but until they do some official legislation
Yeah.
and make it a part of the state calendar, we don't put it on there in the beginning.
Yeah, I anticipate they will do that at some point. What day is Juneteenth going to fall on this year?
I did not bring my revised schedule last year.
It's-
It's on Wednesday,
So it
Sunday, it's
should
gonna
be
be on
Thursday. Okay. That'll be an extra long weekend then for county employees, I would anticipate. All right, any questions for Sherry on this item or any comments from the commission? All right, any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
All right, thank you. Item number 3 is a request to approve the Houston County Dothan City Gasoline and Diesel Fuel Joint Bid Agreement. Peter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Every 3 years, we go through we share in the awarding of the bid for the fuel that the county uses. The city of Dothan is the awarding authority in that bid. Also included is the city schools as well as the Houston County departments. This year, the bid was awarded, and I'm asking the commission to concur with that award so that we can participate in that fuel bid. Just so that you know, the way the bid is structured is that we pay the inbound landed wholesale fuel cost plus a margin. And this margin on the winning bid is about 2.5 cents below the current margin that we're paying. I anticipate that this, if mileage stays the same, this should bring about $10,000 to $12,000 savings to the county.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's see, award the transport loads to the lowest bidder, Tartan Oil. Is on a pallet of travel centers, and then short loads to Davis Oil. Davis Oil is who has the complete contract now, correct? Okay. And then the fuel card bid will be awarded to Davis Oil as well. Any questions from the commission for this item? Any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
No. Thank you, Peter. Item number 4 is a request to adopt resolution to appoint solid waste officer related to the Houston County Solid Waste System. Do you want to explain this, or you want to kind of talk about this? I could talk about it a little bit. I know Stacy, you might bring some, you want to come on up?
She like, no, yes, she does.
Yes, she does. Look at how excited she is. It's just us today. It's nobody here.
This is 2 meetings in a row. you-
Besides the camera behind you that's running.
Yeah.
Hit it again.
Can we move that mic back to the
So
center of here?
currently what we're doing
Yeah,
now,
do you mind putting the microphone in the middle? It's messing up the Curtis's feng shui.
Yes.
There we go. That's good. Thank you.
currently we utilize the health department. They're appointed as our solid waste officer. And we are going to appoint Jim Nunley as the solid waste officer. It will not cut out her job, but the functions of, in Houston County, you have to have trash service. So after 3 months, the health department gets involved and issues a show cause hearing for people to explain why they don't have trash service and why they're not abiding by the law. And so he's going to assume that role, and it'll start the process of the collections, because we've contracted, as you know, with Prim and Mendham for collections. So he'll basically issue the citations and the show cause hearings. The people will come and explain why they don't have trash, and then it'll be turned over to Prim and Mendham, or they'll pay, one or the other. The ones who don't pay, it goes over to Prim and Mendham.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I know that we've had a lot of changes with sanitation, undergoing a lot of changes currently with sanitation. So we're going to start doing our own billing pretty soon. And one of the issues that we're running into is that, I guess, before this change started, there was not a lot of these show cause hearings being sent, probably not as many as needed to be sent. People
That's
were
correct.
perpetually behind, and now that we're kind of getting caught up and sending them out, the health department doesn't have really the time to dedicate to this, which we can't start the collection process until this letter is issued. So by assuming this responsibility ourselves and empowering Jim Nunley to send those things out, we're going to speed up that process. Is that accurate?
That's correct, yes. She just doesn't have the time. She has other duties. And we're having, once we pick up the can, at that point, we turn over to the health department. And she just does not have the manpower. It's just her in the office. So Jim is very familiar with the process and how it works. He knows where everybody lives and everything. And a lot of the cases that we don't know about here, he already knows they don't live there.
Yeah.
Or they passed away or whatever. So that will alleviate a lot of work too. For that position.
I have a question.
Yes.
This only applies to the ones that's on Wiregrass Electric. It's come down to. Well, no, what I'm saying, we don't have a problem collecting fees. Oh, my bad. We don't have a problem collecting fees from the ones that's on Wiregrass Electric because it comes out of our bill.
Well, that is correct, but we don't have, right now, we don't have the ability to disconnect somebody who has sanitation and also has Wiregrass Electric. Because they are in charge. If we take our service and disconnect with sanitation, it disconnects their electrical service. And we can't do that. That's one of the things that's in our contract. So when we start doing our own billing, it's probably going to even increase more. We can stop sanitation services, but we can't issue a show cause hearing to those people who have Wiregrass Electric.
Are we still gonna collect our money through Wiregrass?
No.
No.
Okay.
Beginning in, I believe, January, is that kind of what we're thinking?
Yeah, we're this January, we're hoping to be live. We'll know more next week. We'll be collecting the software that we have. We will have a lockbox that they mail payments to. We'll also be able to do online payments, but that'll all be through our software. So it's not going to be at a cost to the commission.
Okay, so starting in January, we'll pay separately. Can we set up for monthly, automatic payment?
You can do auto pay, you can pay ahead, whatever you want to do. We're going to have all those capabilities to do it. We'll just be in control instead of Wiregrass Electric.
Do you not think that we're going to have more issues with the fact that it's tied to their power bill now, so they gotta?
So that's what I'm saying. I think your number will increase. Whereas we had, and I can't remember exactly the number, but it seemed like from January to June, around 87 people that we had to issue citations on. It may go up to 160. Because, right now, sanitation only customers, there's about 15,000 customers. Sanitation only customers are probably 7,500 of that. It's about half and half, runs about half and half. So we're gonna pick up that whole 7,500 that Wiregrass bills. So yeah, our numbers are probably gonna increase. I
Yeah,
feel like they will.
but my power bill's going down.
Yeah, look at it that way.
Yes, it's good how you look at it.
Yeah.
It will be better. I think it'll be, in the end, it'll be better for our customers. It'll definitely be a lot better for us.
One thing that will allow for the Wiregrass customers is if they can't pay the whole electric bill, then Wiregrass collect, and they pay Wiregrass, they collect their money first.
As they
As
should, yeah,
They
yeah.
should, but this will allow them to pay their trash bill separately,
Yeah.
so that if they can't pay their whole electric bill, they can at
Please
least
pay the trash bill. I didn't know that. That's a good point.
Right,
And-
they apply the payments to their stuff, we're secondary.
Yeah. Well, and as we've kind of gotten into this, I think the system worked better in the past, but now Wiregrass has had some changes as their business has evolved. Obviously, we've had some changes as we went to automated things, and so we've kind of evolved. And whereas before, the system really, I will not say probably worked perfectly together, but it worked, and it's increasingly where it's just not a good marriage. And that's not saying anything about Wiregrass. They've been extremely good to us, but it's just, what they've got going on and what we've got going on. We're just kind of going on two different paths, and it'll be better for both entities that we kind of assume this business. Any other questions? Sure. Any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
Thank you. Item number 5 is a request to approve policy for the appointment process of board members to the Houston County Healthcare Authority effective January 1st, 2025, subject to the November referendum. So I know this has sort of been under the radar a little bit, but I do want to comment on it. We've kind of been in this situation with the Healthcare Authority off and on for a number of years. I pulled a article when I was cleaning out former Chairman Culver's desk. I pulled out an article where they were having a similar issue, I think in 1999. Mark Stewart was the author of that article, talking about how the commission was kind of losing control supposedly of the Healthcare Authority. I don't know, I've not read that article in some time, but this is an ongoing issue that we've had. And so anyway, I think the chief concern, that the commission has is that we just have what we feel, in our opinion, to be a lack of qualified options to choose from. You go back, rewind the clock back a few years, and they would say, okay, here's 2 names that's on the list, but here's the name that you're going to appoint. And I know Commissioner Adams, I was looking through the records yesterday, was listed as one of those also ran candidates twice, where he was told you're not going to get appointed, but we just need a name to put on the list. And so the end result of that is that if the commission is, would like to change things a little bit, would like to change the direction a little bit, you really don't have an option to do so. And at the end of the day, this is, they receive 4 meals of taxpayer money, and the people need to have some sort of, definitely don't want to run the day-to-day operations of the hospital, but we need to be able to have a conversation with people. And that's just kind of not where we are now. And so this policy, if it is approved on Monday, will essentially outline our process to go about finding and vetting candidates for the board that will result hopefully in a better, more qualified people to be appointed to the Healthcare Authority. We actually list out in the policy qualifications. I mean, we're not looking for, I think on one hand, we want the board to be representative of the community. We want them to be representative to the point that you made, Commissioner Adams. We want to be somewhat representative of the hospital staff, which is predominantly female. But at the same time, we're not just looking to fill a spot. Well, for instance, we need a woman to put on the board in this spot. We're not looking for a quota, but we do want the board to be better representative of the community, and we want outstanding, stellar people on the board. And that's what this process, I believe it will give us. You have to be a successful business person, an executive, an individual with significant healthcare experience who have displayed a track record of success. You have to have demonstrated leadership, strategic thinking, and decision-making skills. So, we're not looking to grab average Joes or so-and-so that, gave us $100 for our campaign. We're looking for outstanding people to be on the board. We do have restrictions in this policy, as y'all have undoubtedly read. Candidates cannot be currently employed by Southeast Health or its affiliates. So we're not looking to put somebody on the board that can benefit themselves through their influence on the authority. That's absolutely not what we're looking for. Candidates cannot be affiliated with any competing hospital. So we don't want to put, a nurse or a physician that's affiliated with Flowers Hospital on a competing hospital's board. I mean, Southeast Health is our hospital, and we want it to be successful. We're not looking to undermine it. We do introduce term limits. Board members cannot be reappointed if they have already served 3 terms. We have a few people on the board currently that have been on there since before the turn of the century. And so I think in that time, Alabama's won 6 national championships. We've invented the iPhone, sent machines to Mars. So a lot has happened in that time, and it's probably time to change over some of those board members. Anyway, that's kind of the long and the short of it. I think y'all have all had an opportunity to read this. This was sent out. I know I sent this to Commissioner Herring a couple of weeks ago just to get his feedback on it. And now that it's potentially up for a vote, it was sent to all of y'all yesterday to kind of review. So, and again, I'm not one of these people that's going to be offended if we want to tweak this or make changes. This is kind of my stab at it. I think it's a good start. But if there's anything that y'all want to change or reconsider, certainly we don't have to vote on this on Monday. This can be deferred to another date if we need to, if we feel there needs to be more deliberation and consideration. But it's here for your review and decide what y'all want to do. So any comments or questions from the commission on this item?
Do we want to address and make sure that everybody understands that we don't have an agenda with the hospital? We just want some say so in the appointment process?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely incumbent upon us to make that point clear. And I know, some of what's being said out there is we're trying to take over the hospital. That's certainly not the case. I've got a lot of things I need to be working on, and taking over the hospital is not one of them. But, we need to have people that we can trust and we can have a conversation with, quite frankly, without being cursed out, which has happened. And previous commissions have been able to put people on the board without an issue. But for some reason now it's an issue. So, anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to say, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I reiterate, is everything that you said, but, it's, this has been going on for several years, and it's before my time even coming as commissioner. You mentioned, the early 90s when Miss Frances Cook was in, she fought hard to get one on that board. And at the time, he's been on there, I think, since 1997, and so that is the appointment I am in the process now, trying to change now. But, the process would work great if they would do it the way it's supposed to be done, but the communication is not there. They don't communicate with us. They don't talk with us. It's the law says this, our bylaws say this, and this is what we're going to do, and you're going to take it, but in the end, we represent the people out here. And, there's a lot of taxpayer money that goes to that hospital. That hospital started in 1957. And, with that being said, it was off of the taxpayers' money here in this county that hospital started and was created. So, it's over time, I think they've gotten away from the point of understanding that that's the community hospital. That's our local hospital. And again, like I said, a lot of taxpayer money from Houston County, off of their, the revenues that come in from your property taxes goes towards that, and they just went up another $1.5 million on your property tax, that board did. And, with that being said, it took it from 2.5 to 4, which is the most they can do. But, in my meeting that I had with Chester Sowell at the time, the one I'm trying to remove from the board and appoint somebody different, was, he knocked on the wall and says, Ricky, I just tell you, we're financially better off than we ever have been. But yet you tell us that, and then here the $1.5 million comes, and it ain't even started coming yet, but you're financially better off. But you need the money because you're not financially stable, but you come after the people's money, another $1.5 million, it's things like that, and then of course, like I said, communication. And, I relate it to the U.S. Supreme Court a lot of times when I talk about this situation, but the U.S. Supreme Court don't give you 3 names to give to the President of the United States to tell you, hey, these are 3 names you need to choose from. That's not the way that works. And I can understand why they had that in place at one time and what they were doing and trying to do, but you had people back then that would work with others, and try to work with others. But I know that Commissioner Harvey has had issues over years, and seen it in his long time being here. It's the communication, and it's our way or no way. And there's no communication with us about what happens and what's going on and the appointment process. And we represent the people, and that's what I'm fighting for. And I know we're fighting for is for the people here to, we are the say for them, but we have no say. So it's very important that in November, that when this is voted on, that people see that and see that we're not trying to take over the hospital. And the hospital is saying within the hospital and the board mainly, and some of the board members, I don't say all of them, some of them are legit, some of them are, but the majority of the ones that pull all the strings there, that's been there forever, they're telling people that we're going to try to sell the hospital. They're telling people that we're going to try to take money from the hospital. Well, by law, we can't do that. That's a false statement. And so that's not being, That's not being portrayed the way it's supposed to be. But it just shows how I don't know why they want to hold on to that appointment so bad if they're not getting anything out of it, you know? And, you know, my appointment was gonna be Dr. Kelsey Steensland, and that's who it's still gonna be. If it passes and goes through, she is highly qualified and she knows exactly, you know, how that hospital, she's been the boots on the ground. She understands what the nurses go through, what doctors go through. She sees it and has been there. Now, she's not in the medical field anymore. She's retired, you know, but she'd be a perfect one to be on that board to be able to bring some light to the others there and to be able to explain what the boots on the ground deal with. But, you know, it's not that way. And then when you get the process, like you said, the board appointments, and they give you your appointments, well, you look at the appointments that I have, I've got Chester Sowell, his buddy, and his buddy on that list. But that don't even make sense. Why you give me your buddy? Why don't you go back and give me somebody that, you know, vet it the way you're supposed to be vetted, you know, and give me some names of some people and let's talk about it of why they're qualified for that position. You know, so I just, you know, this has been a battle that's going on now, I think, in both of my terms. And I've not gotten anywhere with them. They don't care to see it. And some of them don't. But it's important that we, and I know that the process, some people's going to say that the process where the commission's trying to take over this. But I know that the guys that I serve with up here and the other guys we'll hold each other accountable. We're not just going to let you appoint somebody that that don't need to be appointed. We're going to all talk about it and communicate about it. So it's very important in November, we vote yes on that amendment to be able to get that passed. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you. I think those are good comments. And, you know, I would say quite frankly, I mean, I don't think we would be here were it not for Kelsey Steensland appointment being held up. And that's the thing. I mean, you look at the hospital, I mean, that's our public hospital, and that's not something that needs to be tinkered with lightly. I mean, I'll be honest with you. And so I was always of the opinion that we can work this out. We don't have to, you know, take it to the extreme. But when we put forward, I think probably one of the most qualified candidates that have been put forward in the last 25 years, and we are not really given a reason as to why she's not qualified other than she has too many kids, which I think was the excuse and not the reason. So I'll throw Chester Sowell some slack there. You know, that's just an issue. That's just an issue. So anyway, you know, we'll see what happens. Whichever way that people vote, we're gonna have to respect that. So,
Chairman, it just needs to be fair and equal. You know, when it's an appointment made by each commissioner for their districts, and then you have them after they're appointed by the board, they move out of their districts and they still keep them on that board. It's unfair to that commissioner and that district they represent. Now their appointment is representing another district. So it needs to be fair and equal. And that's one of the things they're not doing also is when this happens, they're just leaving it like it is. They're not coming back asking that commissioner to do another reappointment. They're just continuing to Cadillac along like they normally do and leave it like it is. And not being fair and equal to the citizens of Houston County that they're supposed to be representing also on that board for the medical center.
are there questions or comments?
I'd like to make a comment right quick that just make sure that there's some outstanding board members on this board. It does a tremendous job for the medical center. My position on it is, it's just simple. If I'm the approving authority, I want to be part of the selection process. Nothing more, nothing less. But my name is on you. I value my name. I want to be part of it. Say so, because like the chairman says, they give you 3 names and they put a check mark by it, the name that they need, and that's your guidance. That's the process where it works right now. And that happened. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. All right. There's nothing, no other comments or questions. Any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No objection.
Item number 6 is a request to approve the 2024-2025 budget. This presentation will take place on Monday, not today. So any objection to placing this on the agenda?
No objection.
Thank you.
Okay. There being no further business, we don't have any privileges on the floor today. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. We are adjourned. Thank you.